And that's going to jump into other corn, open air planted, just like Protegene with the AIDS virus jackets in the corn. And then that happened 8 years ago and was quietly covered up. Unbelievable.
Yep. Well, as one scientist from Stanford University put it, you would think that no one in their right mind would do something like this, but as he put it, and he worked on the Jason project with the Pentagon as a biologist and so forth, so he knew a little bit the inside story. He said, not everybody is in their right mind. And that, I think, sums it up. There are people in a power elite. For them, power is a self-feeding aphrodisiac of some perverse sort that I don't fully understand, but they are different from ordinary human beings, and they just... human life is for them simply an externality. As long as they and their friends are provided for as they see fit, then the rest of the human species would.
Well, I agree, but it's worse than that. A lot of top futurists, top globalists have written, and history shows it with Nero and you know the craziness. Vlad the Impaler, they go crazy and they become nihilistic and self-destructive. And so you hear them writing about it. Even the head people at Hadron are saying, well, there's a small chance it'll destroy the Earth, but we don't care. And they put the death god Shiva above it. Or you talk to these geneticists and they go, so what? So if we make something that takes over the planet, that's regular evolution because we evolved and did it. And so what if it kills us all? We need to be killed. I mean, these are maniacs, and they get off on like driving a car at 100 miles an hour around jagged turns. A lot of Hollywood folks do stuff like that and get killed. You know, like James Dean. It is just a complete mania.
Yep. And now, go back a little bit to the 1950s, because the Rockefeller Foundation, again, was behind this project, called the Agribusiness Project of the Harvard Business School. John W. Davis, who was a former Assistant Agriculture Secretary under Eisenhower, Ray Goldberg, who's still kicking at age 91 and sits on the board of several GMO companies, Goldberg and Davis created something called agribusiness. They invented the term. And what their goal was to vertically integrate the entire food production, distribution, processing and distribution into a mega industry, globalized, first in the United States and then globalized in the last 15, 20 years. And in doing so, and then adding as the icing on the cake, patented seeds, GMO seeds, and in a few years there'll be seeds secretly filled with Terminator, ostensibly to protect patent rights of Monsanto et al. They will have control, and they will be able, in a military sense, to exercise strategic denial. If a country like Iraq or Iran or Zimbabwe or any other priority hate object of a particular Washington government, God forbid that we would ever have a government which doesn't exercise reason and justice in Washington, but in case that were to happen, and they would simply say, okay, Monsanto, cut off the seed supply of Zimbabwe, cut off the seed supply of China, cut off the seed supply of Azerbaijan.
And they've been running around grabbing up, paying 10 times what it's worth. In one case I saw, for heirloom seed companies, they've bought up almost all of them, and then they hoard the seeds, shut them off, no longer sell them, let those seed lines die in the public domain. And then in places like Iraq, where they have captured clients, they're forcing total conversion over to the GMO, and then it's jumping in to all of its naturally occurring variants.
Well, Iraq is a particularly strategic area, because Iraq is the ancient biblical Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. The valley between the Tigris and Euphrates was the first cultivation of wheat, and they have more wheat varieties in a seed bank in Iraq before the last war.
Yeah, not for long.
Yeah, well, the seed bank disappeared. It happened to be in a place called Abu Ghraib. Some of your listeners might have heard of that. And it utterly disappeared off the face of Iraq.
Now a death dungeon, yes.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. And then you have Bill Gates Foundation and Rockefeller and Monsanto building the Doomsday Seed Vault impermeable to nuclear attack or any other kind of natural or man-made disaster up there in the North Sea, in the North Pole.
They know what they're doing. They're going to, and in fact, a Monsanto executive, 9 years ago, was actually even in the big eugenics publication, The Front, National Geographic, but they even admitted there, they had the quote, to paraphrase, well, we're just going to infect everything with our genetics and then use courts to basically take over those companies. And that's what they do. They infect you and then charge you for having their genetics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's control. It's about total control. Full spectrum dominance is the military side of it. The next book that I'm publishing, but the control over the food, you control the people, as Kissinger said.
Well, I want you to hit the key points, but right now, Global Research, great folks, Michelle Chossudovsky, they published your book. By the way, I want to carry it. I just got so busy, I haven't bought it in bulk from them. I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure it's excellent. I carry some other.
Well, I think your readers would find it more than worthwhile, and I would be very happy to have you.
Well, we do carry some books on GMO by some other great scholars, but this guy's dead on, great researcher, but he's good on the full spectrum, speaking of that term. Other guys we have on seem to be specialists. You seem to be somewhat of a generalist, but also with a lot of detailed knowledge in each area. That's what I do. But yeah, give out the phone number, give out the website, tell folks about the book.
Okay. The book is available through Global Research, www.globalresearch.ca for Canada. The book is called Seeds of Destruction, The Hidden Agenda of Genetic Manipulation, F. William Engdahl. And it's available. I don't have the current price in mind, but if you go direct to the publisher, the published USA price is $24.95, and if you go direct to the publisher, you get, as I believe, a discount on that.
Now, do you have a personal site, or you just write for them?
No. I have a personal site. I write worldwide. My writings are picked up in...
give out the site, because I see so many sites with you on it, I'm not sure which one to plug.
My personal site, which is a compilation of all languages of my writings and so forth, is www.engdahl.oilgeopolitics, one word, .net.
That's right. We plugged that last week. And we'll put that up on screen for folks. Give that out one more time.
Okay, www. And then my last name, ENGDAHL dot, and one word, oilgeopolitics.net.
Okay, I'm going to skip this break for the Infowars.com stream listeners and PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. For everybody else, we'll be back in 3 minutes, but I can't waste any time on this subject. It's so important. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about the fact that we won a major victory. We can defeat these people. But then they came in with a counter-strike. So that's the moral of the story. The fight goes on. It's the long march. It's the going the distance that matters. Stay with us. Okay, William.
A day unlike any other in the long.
I'm gonna go back to him, John.
A terrorist.
I'm gonna go back to him. I'm gonna skip this break. William, this is so important. If you can't do it, it's fine. I want to move Bob Chapman when he calls in 10 minutes back about 15 because I want to finish this up, and I've been adding a lot, but I know he's got more he wants to add.
Okay, we can go to a few minutes after the hour, if that's okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know your back gets to you. How far do you want to go?
5 minutes after the hour would be fine.
Okay, and then we'll do, in a few weeks when your book comes out, the full spectrum dominance discussion.
That'd be excellent.
Okay, well, when Chapman calls, just tell him to stay on hold then. Okay, that's fantastic. And I appreciate your scholarly work and your research. I look forward to do you ever come to the United States?
Seldom. It's a physically exhausting trip, and I seldom get there.
I understand. I would like to, maybe we'll pay for a satellite uplink and do it. I would like to interview you for another, you haven't seen my film Endgame. I'm going to make a similar film. It won't be Endgame about all this, and it'll reach millions of people. I would like to interview you and others for that film coming up in the next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure we can find some electronic. I do it with Russian TV, with Chinese media, all sorts of places all over the world. So I'm sure we can figure out something. Absolutely. I'll get you in the chair over there, and we'll do that interview that way. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely.